Hi, I'm Leslie Rogowski, Creative Director for the BEADSMITH, and it is my honor and pleasure to be showing you a step-by-step tutorial for a honeycomb bangle by our BEADSMITH Inspiration Squad designer, Apollinaria Koprivnik. Apollinaria's honeycomb bangle features honeycomb beads. These are 2-holed, 6-sided beads, and honeycombs are one of nature's most perfect shapes. Ask any mathematician. So, to match up with the perfect honeycomb shape, we have an array of perfect colors and finishes, including nebula. Here's laser tattoo, which we're going to be working with in the demo. Glittery matte, pastel, metallics, motley. Look at these, that's so cool. Tweedy, magic, luster, another luster, and of course honeycomb jewels, which are dimensional honeycombs, which add that extra little touch to your piece. But for today, we're going to be working with flat honeycombs. And let's go over here and I'll talk to you about the materials in the project itself. Let's look at the beads that we're using in today's project. Okay, so honeycombs, size 11 seed beads, mini duos, regular super duos, size 7 or 8 Matubo seed beads, and size 15 seed beads. You also need thread, wildfire fireline in a colored. I'm using black to show in the tutorial. You might want to use something that blends in. And of course a thread zap or scissors. And because I'm using size 15 beads, I'm going to use a size 12 beading needle, which is a little bit slimmer. It will allow me many more passes through the beads. Okay, so here we go. You want to start with about 1.5 yards of thread. So here we go to start. I have a starter bead right there. You can see that. And I have strung a pattern of honeycomb 15, 11, super duo 11, 15. And I've repeated it for a length that will fit around the broadest part of my hand. So when you do this, that's the part, remember it's a bangle, you want to make sure it fits over the widest part of your hand when you roll a bangle on. And there are guides in the tutorial which you can download. Look for the links for the downloads in this video, and it will give you tips on how to size your bracelet. So here we go. This is the first thing. You string this enough times, and then you're going to tie it in a ring. You're going to remove the starter bead, the stopper bead, and it usually just comes right off. And you're going to tie it. Just tie it in a circle, in a square knot. So through and through, like that. Then you're going to sew through the whole round again to secure it, and you're going to want to exit one of the super duos. So in order to keep my bracelet in shape, I have taken, and this is going to be a help for you so it doesn't twist, you're going to take a regular piece of cardboard, or cardstock like this, and you're just going to make a tube of it without taping it. You're going to make a tube, and you're going to slide your knotted bracelet over it and let the tube expand to pull snug, and then you can tape it to hold your bracelet. So you got that? It can be any piece of paper really. I like a heavier stock because it just stays in place. So we have the first round, and we've gone all the way through the bracelet again, and we've exited one of the super duos. And I'm going in this direction. Now I'm going to reverse direction, and the super duo that I'm exiting, I'm going to go back through the open hole. See, if I hadn't checked my super duos, I could have been really stuck if this was a mutant. So I'm going back through that. So I'm going to be able to work the other direction now, around this way. And we're going to start for the next round. Now watch what I'm doing here. The honeycombs are going to be flipped to one side, And it doesn't matter which, if you're left-handed or right-handed. And the super duos are going to be flipped pointing the other way. And we're going to work on the next round. All right, I still have my tail attached here. At this point, you can thread it on a needle and weave it in. It's knotted, so just weave it in and trim it. I'm just going to hold it out of the way so you can see. So round 2, you're now coming out of that second super duo hole. And we're going to string an 11, a 15, a honeycomb, I'm checking both holes, a 15, and an 11. So it just mirrors what I strung. So the 15s are next to the honeycomb. Now I'm going to, sewing around, I'm going to skip that honeycomb and I'm going to go through that next super duo. Just like that. Let me do it again. I'm going to pick up an 11, a 15, a honeycomb, and check both holes. If I can find them. There we go. A 15, the 15s are next to the honeys, and an 11. So it's symmetrical on either side of the honeycomb. And I'm going to make sure that my super duo is flipped over to be on the same side, and I'm going to go through it like that. So you can see that's how the second round is going to go all the way around. And by keeping it on the tube, it keeps you from twisting this strip back and forth. So you're going to complete this all the way around. And here we go. So I've gone all the way around, and you can see how the honeycombs are out to the sides and the super duo sections are in the middle. I'm coming out of my last super duo. I'm going to pick up the last part of what we just strung. An 11, a 15, a honeycomb, check both holes, another 15, whoops, and an 11. And I'm going to go through the last super duo, which is actually the first one that we exited, and I'm going to continue to sew all the way through to exit the next honeycomb. Can you see where that needle is coming out of the next honeycomb after I add that last section? Whoops. So this, keeping this on the tube again, keeps the strip from twisting. You can see that all the super duos are laying like little railroad tracks and all the honeycombs are out to the sides. Okay, back at the thread. You're going to reverse direction and sew through the open hole of the honeycomb that you just exited. Right there. Now we're in position to start to add the next round of beads, and I'm going to pick up my next stepped out. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pick up another sequence of beads to add to this. So here we are getting ready for round 3. We've reversed direction and come back through the honeycomb. Doesn't matter which side honeycomb. Then you're going to string a 15, an 11, a mini duo, an 11 and a 15, and you're going to sew through the next honeycomb working around. So I'm coming through the open hole of the honeycomb, and I'm going to repeat this between each of the honeycombs around this side of the bracelet. And when I finish doing that, I'm going to have this. You can see that these are all around. Now don't be panicking if you see beads have flipped and you're going to think that you did something wrong. You haven't. Okay, what I've done here is I've finished the whole round, and there's the little mini duos that are flipped the wrong way. Now I have to work my way through the bracelet to come out a honeycomb on the other side, so I can do this round of the seed beads and the mini duos. And I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to be reversing through the 2-hole beads. So I'm going to go back in the opposite direction through the honeycomb I'm exiting and through the 15 and 11 to the super duo. You can see that right there. And I'm going to pull my thread through. Now I'm going to reverse direction and come back through that same super duo, the 11 and the 15, and through the honeycomb, where I'm going to be able to reverse direction again. Okay. If it looks fiddly, it's because I'm holding it so you guys can see it. There we go. You can see where I'm coming through the stitched hole of the honeycomb because I haven't reversed direction yet. Pull your thread straight out of a hole, always straight out. You don't want to pull it against a hole so it doesn't abrade. Now I'm going to reverse direction and go through the open hole of the honeycomb. I'm just going to turn this around so that it's in a good orientation for me. And I'm going to go through that open hole, which, remember, we checked to make sure it was clear before we sewed it. Now we're going to repeat the same pattern of beads around the other side, picking up a 15 and 11, a mini duo, an 11 and a 15 to fill in all of these. All right, so we've added that other round on the other side, and I've almost completed the next step after that. After you finish adding the seed beads and the little mini duos around, you're going to come back and you're going to start to string a third round of honeycombs in a slightly different way. You're going to pick up an 11, a Matubo 7, a honeycomb, a Matubo 7, and an 11, and you're going to sew through the next mini duo. And I have done this all the way around, and I'm back to where I started. So you can see the 11, the Matubo, the honeycomb, the Matubo, and the 11, and I'm going to sew through the first mini duo that was added on this side of the bracelet. Now here's a point I should note. The laser tattoo honeycombs have a pattern on both sides, so it doesn't matter in this third round of honeycombs which way the honeycombs face. However, if you were using honeycomb jewels, or something that had a face to it and a back side to it, you want to make sure when you do this round that the underside, the wrong side, is facing up, because this bracelet is going to flip over this row of honeycombs to attach to the other side, and that's the right side that's going to show. Don't worry, there's great illustrations in the tutorial, and I am following exactly what you will see in the pattern. So here we are, adding the last of that third round of honeys. Okay, what happens next is sewing through the first 11 size 7 Matubo and honeycomb that you added in this round. There we go. Okay, so I've gone through the 11, the Matubo, and the honeycomb. And once more, I'm going to reverse direction. So I've been sewing in this direction, now I'm going to reverse direction and sew through the open hole of this honeycomb that I just exited. Now here's where the fun starts. Actually, it's already started. I shouldn't say that. This is all fun. Now we're going to connect this to the other side. We're going to flip the honeycomb over, and we're going to repeat the 11, the Matubo, sewing through the mini duo the 11 and the Mitubo and go through. So we're going to do this. We want to reflect exactly the beads in the order that we did them on this side. So it's a Mitubo next to the honeycomb, and then an 11 next to the mini duo. We're going to flip this over, and we're going to come through the mini duo. Now we're working around this way, remember? Watch that you don't get caught. There we go. Now we're going to pick up an 11 and the Mitubo 7 and go to the honeycomb, the next honeycomb that was strung in the third round, and we're going to pull that over to the side like this. Now we pick up a Mitubo and 11 and go through the mini duo. Get the picture? And we're going to do this all the way around the bracelet, weave in the ends and trim, and you end up with a look like this. It's brilliant. Apollinaria did such a wonderful design. It's easy, you can see it's very repetitive. Take your time, and remember, you can check out more of this designer's work at www.picapolina.com. Find these wonderful beads, tools, and supplies from the Beadsmith at your favorite bead reseller. I'm Leslie Rogalski saying, I love beads!